it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.
Hey there, TJ here, and welcome to Yeah The Dees, where I'm going through our round 3 victory against the Swans at the MCG on Sunday, the 2nd of April 2023. Oh boy, was I worried about this game going in. Lots of changes to the team. No Max Gawn, no Cozzy Pickett, no Christian Salem, and the Swans have had the wood over us for years. We've only had a couple of wins over them in the last 10 years, and I bloody hate them. I'm so sick of them. I'm so sick of them always beating us. So I was very thrilled to see us put in one of the better performances I've seen since we won the flag. But let's get cracking into this by going over the team selection. So when this team got spat out and went with the final team, I was very, very shocked to see Tom McDonald omitted. I expected Adam Tomlinson to get pushed out for Stephen May, James Harmes with personal reasons, and then Max Gawn of being the obvious one going out. I didn't think that they would be so defender heavy, and I definitely didn't think that they were going to be putting Harrison Petty forward by the time the siren went on Sunday afternoon. I was very surprised. We saw a starting midfield of Brodie Grundy, Jack Viney, Clayton Oliver, and James Jordan in the middle, with Christian Petrarca starting off the half-forward line. Our back line was a lot smaller. We had Stephen May, Jake Lever, Angus Brayshaw, Trent Rivers, Michael Hibberd, Judd McVeigh, and Jake Bowie all go through there. We had Ed Langdon and Lockie Hunter swapping wings as well. Ed Langdon was usually always playing on the far side, but he was swapping with Lockie Hunter throughout the game. So yeah, very interesting team selection coming in, something very different we've seen from Simon Goodwin. So let's see how that impacted us on the game. So the game starts off, we've got Brodie Grundy in the middle, and we don't get the ball out, and we get absolutely smashed in clearances for the first couple of minutes of this game. Sydney get the first 5 inside 50s, but are only able to manage a behind through Joel Amadi in those first few minutes. There is a really nice moment from Jacob Van Rooyen early in this quarter where he lays a bump in the middle of the ground, lays a tackle, tries to lay another bump, and then bolts back towards our forward 50 and is able to take a mark pretty much around the 50-metre mark, and then hit up Alex Neil-Bullen to get our first goal on the board. And I was like, yes, this guy already looks like he's at the level, and he's doing some smart things. He's trying to impact in play. But then he was able to actually be rewarded a little later in that quarter and kick his first goal. He just copped a bit of high contact from Peter Laddams in the rucking contest in the forward 50 and was able to get a nice easy free kick and put the ball through the big sticks for the first time, and all the D's got around him. So that was, really liked his technique, the way he holds the ball over his leg and runs forward. It's not a lot of moving parts, which just makes things easier. So yeah, he's definitely been a student of the kicking school of Mark Williams and has come through looking really, really good from there. This first quarter was really interesting because we got smashed in clearances in this first quarter. We didn't really get on top of them until later on in the third quarter, but having a 6-goal first quarter is fantastic. Lance Franklin getting the only goal for them. Charlie Spargo kicking a great goal in this early term as well. And didn't Spargs play a great game? He just got everywhere where he needed to. Sort of done a few sort of Cozzy Pickett things, just kind of running down, harassing, putting that pressure on. He had a really, really, really good quality game, as did Cade Chandler as well, but we'll talk to him a bit later when he's kicking some goals. So at this stage, when Lockie Hunter's able to get a goal from a 50-metre penalty, there's been 11 clearances at that stage, and we had only won 2 of them. But the 2 that we had won ended up in goals, both of them kind of from free kicks. This one being from a 50 and the Jacob Van Rooyen one being from a free kick. And we were able to get a bit more on top in the later half of that quarter. Clayton Oliver with a fantastic goal, streaming through towards the big sticks. He's just taking his game to another level this year. He's been able to add a bit of better kicking. He's kicked 3 goals this year. I think he only kicked 10 for the season last year. And that was, the 6th goal of that last quarter. So we kicked 6-1 37 to the Swans 139. The Swans had a few opportunities that they kind of wasted. There was probably about 4 or 5 throughout the whole game that I felt that they should have got, and they either went out on the full or were just kicked really, really poorly. We were in the quarter by 28 points. Unfortunately, starting off that second quarter, the Swans kicked 2 goals in a row to sort of peg it back a little bit, but generally they don't really kick more than 2 in a row, and we have quite a few runs of kicking 3 goals in a row in this game, so we definitely have the control of it. Didn't feel like it in the game, especially in the second quarter when they were coming, they put 5 goals on the board in this quarter. Cade Chandler finally getting his opportunity this year has been really, really rewarding, and I guess that spot kind of got opened up by Toby Bedford moving on. He knows where to look to get involved in score involvements. I think he's like 3rd at our club at the moment in score involvements. He's kicking goals every week. He's putting on pressure and creating opportunities by putting that pressure on. And I'm just really, really happy with what he's doing. I think James Jordan coming back was really important as well. He can kind of be a bit of a midfield utility. You can kind of put him in any position. But he's just a no-frills kind of player. He doesn't really fuss about too much. And I just feel like he gives us a bit more flexibility through that middle. He's obviously played a lot of wing time, played a lot in the middle for us, and can just plug those holes when situations come up where a rotation needs to be changed because someone's coming to the bench, they're a bit injured, or something like that. I just feel like we're a better team when James Jordan's in the side. And I think Tom Sparrow's kind of in that realm as well. They were both drafted in the same year. They're both good friends. They both seem to work really, really well together. And I really like the combination of Oliver, Petrarca and Sparrow in the centre. I find that he's just like this really young Jack Viney with an absolutely booming kick on him. And he can get it and smash these goals from 50. And yeah, I just think Tom Sparrow's just been doing a lot of good stuff for us. Another run of 2 goals in a row for Sydney here. That Joel Amati kick could have been a lot better. He didn't really take the most of his opportunities. Lockie Hunter got his 2nd goal and helped steady the ship for us a little bit. Logan McDonald got that one back. We kicked 3 goals, 2-20 to Sydney's 5-3-33. We lead the game by 15 but lost that quarter by 13. This is the only quarter that we really lose. For the day, it was probably one of the better showings that Sydney had. They were just really efficient when they had the ball. Like, their kicking skills are pretty elite. And we had a bit more of it, but they were actually able to be a bit more efficient while they had it. But we were still able to produce a few turnovers, and that's where we were able to get most of our score from. So at halftime, we are leading by 15 points. And then the game gets a bit closer here after Tom Papley and Errol Goulden kicked some goals, and they actually ruined a few opportunities here with some behinds. And this is the closest they get to us after this Nick Blakey behind, where we're 7 points up and could have been really worried about it. Could have definitely gone the other way. But then Brodie Grundy just starts really getting on top of them and really changes the way that the centre clearances are breaking out, and his tap work just starts to come off, but it's more so his follow-up work that really creates these opportunities. And there's some really great highlights of Brodie Grundy from this third quarter that just helps us get this flurry of goals towards the end of it. Cade Chandler gets back involved again. Bailey Fritsch gets an opportunity to kick 2 goals in this quarter. There's one small hiccup with Tom Papley getting a goal here, but then Charlie Spargo follows up after to go through to the end of the third quarter. And we ended up kicking 5-1-31 to the Sydney's 3-3-21. So it was basically a swap of the previous quarter where Sydney had kicked 5-3 in the second, we kicked 3-2, but in this third quarter it swapped back. So we bring the lead back up to 25 points. We've really got on top in the contested possessions, and that really helped. But with Brodie Grundy's elite work in the ruck, they were coming hard, Sydney. They were coming and they got within a kick, and both like grabbing the ball, tapping it down, following it up, chasing it, the hit outs. Like, he really got us going, and I find that really important. And that's what really counts, because it's like when the game was about to get flipped onto its head, Brodie Grundy said, "Nah, we're not doing this," and he was absolutely phenomenal. His work rate was incredible, and he's probably not quite at his best match fitness yet, but this trade has just been absolutely fantastic, and it's paying off. This is just only going to get better. Like, I'm so stoked with Brodie Grundy. It's absolutely incredible. So by the time we get to the early in the fourth quarter, Sydney had the lead of 10-1 early in the game. I think it was even 10-2 at that point. And then we won the clearances 24-17 since then, and we're leading to hit-outs and advantage from that after not recording any in the opening 15 minutes of the game. Not having those hit-out advantages in the early 15 minutes of the game and still being able to get 5 goals up really set us up to succeed in this game. And then once we got on top of that sort of thing, then we just put the foot on the throat and just really fucking mauled them. Like, just absolutely smashed through them. Kate Chandler gets his 3rd goal. Jacob Van Rooyen gets his 2nd and his 3rd, and he took a fantastic mark. Love chanting Roo with all my fellow Demon supporters from the stands. It just makes the game a bit more fun. And it's already in his first game. He feels like a massive upgrade to Sam Wiedemann. There's just a bit more confidence there. He has the same sort of body size, if not a little bit bigger, but he's happy to use it. So, yeah, he's definitely going to turn into a cult figure here. He laid 6 tackles for the day as well, which is fantastic from a first gamer. James Jordan, Harrison Petty and Tom Sparrow all got reward for effort late in this game by being able to kick goals. I thought Harrison Petty forward was a really interesting move. It obviously made us shorter in defence, but he took away the second tall defender from a Bailey Fritsch. Jake Melksham, while he was subbed into this last quarter, he was able to kick that goal right at the end, which is fantastic. He just had 2 really, really, really poor entries inside 50, which could have given us another 2 goals, or at least 2 shots on goal, which I was a bit upset about. But ultimately, it's, at least he's coming on and doing something. And it was really like after Ben Brown went off, that's when the foot on the throat really started as well. That we got a bit more speed on the ground, and I think that was able to make the difference against one of the main amazing statistics right here is we kicked 16-1 from set shots to set up that 50-point win, and we've now won 2 games, round 1 and round 3, against teams that are considered to be top 8, possibly top 4 teams by 50 points. So I'm very, very satisfied with that. Yeah, so we dominated a lot more of the ball. As I mentioned earlier, Sydney were just a bit more efficient. So, yeah, we had 214 kicks to 188 for the Swans, and we also had 12 more handballs. We had more inside 50s for the game because we were dominating that aspect of it for the second half. Disposal efficiency pretty much even between the 2 sides, as well as efficiency inside 50. Free kicks pretty even. So hit-outs went massively in our direction post the first quarter, as well as clearances as well. So we were smashed 10-1, and then we not only evened that up with the centre clearances and the stoppage clearances, but we went ahead of them to beat them. So that just shows how our dominance came later in the game and what we were able to do with it. We absolutely smashed them in contested possession, 141-107. That is a lot to win by, and it is mainly around Brodie Grundy giving us that opportunity to run out of those contests. Marks were pretty even throughout the game. We beat them just in contested marks. Yeah, tackles pretty even, and that's about it there for team stats. On to player stats now, and Christian Petrarca, Clayton Oliver, Ed Langdon, Lockie Hunter, James Jordan, Brodie Grundy all had really big games with over 21 disposals for them. Christian Petrarca with 33 for the game. Played 90% time on the ground. Stephen May and Jake Lever never left the ground either. Ed Langdon and Lockie Hunter all playing 92%. In the meters game, Christian Petrarca had 572 with Clayton Oliver with 475. Trent Rivers again playing another fine game, 468. James Jordan, welcome back, 467, which is equal with Lockie Hunter. Stephen May had another cracking game as well in his comeback game, holding Buddy pretty well, even though he did get off and get a couple of goals. But it was just his presence and his organisation of the troops in the back line just gives you such a peace of mind when he's out there. Like, Jake Lever's fantastic, don't get me wrong, but having both him and Stephen May just makes things so much easier for our club. Christian Petrarca led the inside 50s with 9. Jack Viney, Lockie Hunter and Brodie Grundy all had 6. 3 centre clearances each for Viney, Petrarca and Oliver. And then, Clayton Oliver, Ed Langdon, Brodie Grundy, 9 score involvements. Judd McVeigh with 7 intercept possessions, and then of course we'll go to disposal efficiency, and it was a pretty good game from our club. Not too many people absolutely spanging it too badly. Just Jack Viney still needs to just sort of get back to proper match fitness, I guess. He just seems a step behind it at the moment. let's get into the coaches' votes. And the coaches' votes looked something like this. And it means the coaches split it up like this. Now, it was hard to fit people into the 6 votes. There's a few people that missed out, but I gave 1 vote to the debuting Jacob Van Rooyen. I thought he did fantastic, kicking 3 goals, making a bit of a presence, 6 tackles. So I wanted to give him the 1 vote for a great debut. Gave 2 votes to Cade Chandler, who has been fantastic so far this year. Plenty of score involvements, lots of pressure acts, lots of tackling, and kicking 3 goals as well is also pretty good. I gave the 3 votes to Stephen May. Was so glad to have him back on the side, and he held Buddy pretty well all day, considering he's just an absolute nightmare to match up on. I gave the 4 votes to Christian Petrarca, who made some really important moves when we needed to and helped provide the drive into our inside 50 when we were under siege. Gave 5 votes to Brodie Grundy. I was very, very close to giving him best on ground, but I felt like he really got going in the second half, which means I gave the 6 votes to our 150-man Clayton Oliver. He's just an absolute machine. This kid, probably the best player I think I've ever watched, and we're only halfway through this amazing man's career. Now, he's a 2021 Premiership player, 2 times AFL Coaches Association champion player, 3 All-Australians, 4 Keith Bluey Truscott medals, 3 times the 22 under-22 team, Harold Ball Memorial Trophy, Frank Checker Hughes medal, Neil Danaher Trophy, 2 times Lou Richards medal, AFL Coaches Association Best Young Player in 2017. He got a Rising Star nominee in 2016 and won the Morris Medal in 2015. That is just phenomenal for any player to have at the end of their career, let alone at 25. So well done to you, Clayton Oliver. You've had a fantastic career so far, and if it's half as good for the rest of it, we're going to be very blessed as Melbourne supporters. So that gives our leaderboard here. On to the VFL now, and we played the Sydney Swans down at Casey Fields on Sunday in the morning and beat them by 42 points. So it was a pretty solid game. We controlled it for the vast majority of it. Adam Tomlinson, Blake Howes, Luke Dunstan all had fantastic games. Picking up disposals like no tomorrow. They all had over 33. So looking pretty good. Blake Howes is tracking very, very nicely. In terms of goals, Matthew Jefferson, our first pick from last year, kicked 4 goals for the day and then was pretty impressive. Oliver Seston kicked 2, Tom McDonald kicked 2, Bailey Laurie kicked 1. Blake Howes, Luke Dunstan, Adam Tomlinson, and even Tom McDonald probably trying to push for some senior selection. But yeah, very solid game there. Looking at team selection in next week, there could be a few changes. I'm not sure how Ben Brown is going. He was running in the rehab group this week, but then also so was Jake Lever, which is interesting. Harms wasn't at training at all. He missed last week because of a personal issue, so no need to discuss it, but we're not sure if he'll be back this week or not. Maxi Gorn's running laps. Harrison Petty's been doing some extra goal kicking practice, so it looks like he'll possibly stay forward for next week. Michael Hibbard came off a bit sore at the end of the game, so maybe he's not going to play this week. I feel like we are a little bit defender heavy there as well, so I think the only changes I would probably make would just be Michael Hibbard out and Cozzy Pickett in. And we just rotate Judd McVeigh, Jake Bowie, Angus Brayshaw and Trent Rivers all through that back line on their smalls. So that's pretty much what I think about that. So thank you very much for watching Yeah The Dees. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and I'll see you next week.
Petrarca! Oh wow! How good is that? Sparrow to make it a 3-goal, 3-quarter night lead. He's got it! Surely not another one. Handball to Oliver. Streaming through. Bang! Bang, bang, bang! Melbourne are the premiers for 2021!
And it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.